I am CEO of Central Body Company, and this is the business my dad started. It's the only job I've ever had. I am deeply passionate about this business. My dad always had a saying that if you treat the business like it's one of your children, that's the type of care you have to have about the business. It took me a long time to get to that point. As the visionary of the company, I don't like to talk about my past. I'm constantly looking forward. Like, what are we going to do next? So this is actually kind of difficult for me to talk about where I've been, because it is a very hard thing to pull through the tough times. I grew up in the business my dad started. I started working in the shop when I was 12 years old. He dragged me to work and basically boot me out in the shop and give me a manager that would tell me what to do. I had the worst jobs in the shop. I tried to bring the hustle. I tried to show people that I wasn't just the boss's kid. I was a contributing member to the company. That work ethic is something that my dad instilled in both my sister and I. I feel like if you have that work ethic, there isn't anything you can't do in this world. When I inherited the business after my dad got sick and died, he got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer at the end of 2006. We lost him in about 2.5 short months. I was already running the business, but I wasn't my dad. He was this huge presence, 6'6", cowboy hat, handlebar mustache, just command a room when he would walk in. He literally left huge boots to fill, and figuratively. So I had to figure out, how am I going to lead? Here I am with the business with over $500,000 of debt, a team that I didn't pick, and no direction. The market that he was in at the time when he started the business is not where it was when I inherited. The margins were razor thin. The economy was terrible. A lot of times I thought about just shutting the doors. Not to mention, my marriage was on the rocks. I had a young son. Caden was I think 2.5 at the time. We just had our second child. They were dark times for me. But what I remember about my dad was that he would tell us, my sister and I, that no matter how hard it got, wake up the next day, put your nose to the grindstone, and you can work through it. There was a pivotal moment in the company where I actually thought about closing the doors and selling. I talked to my sister. She said, "What are you going to do?" I'm like, "I don't know." Like, I got, at this point, 2 mortgages because I was paying my home off plus his home. I didn't take a paycheck home for 9 months. I was stringing vendors out for 90, 120 days. But I had to make payroll. The pressure was crushing me. And I told my sister, I said, "I'm thinking about going back to school, selling it all." She's like, "Well, what are you going to go back to school for?" I'm like, "I don't know, but I just don't know if I can do this." I sought the advice of counselors, friends, family, but nobody could really relate. Luckily, I'd been working on my faith, and I started talking to God, and things started getting better. We started to pivot the business into the specialty market, mainly RVs. We started winning just a little bit each day and actually started to turn a profit. I don't know the time period, but from that pivotal moment to when we got our second location, we started actually doing really good. and I started to build confidence. And I started to think, you know what? I can do this. I can lead this team. I can build my own team. I can build a business that isn't my dad's, was started by my dad, but I want to take it to the next level. The biggest compliment that someone can give me is, you know, Matt, your dad would be so proud of you. So why? A lot of people say, man, you're at 6 locations now and you keep wanting to expand. Like, are you crazy? Why are you going to keep taking the risk? And I've thought a lot about that because my dad isn't around anymore. And if I just do it so that my dad would have been proud of me, that's the wrong reason. So I've had to dig deep. I've had to think, why are we doing this? I did a whiteboard session with a good friend of mine to talk about our 25-year plan. I'd be 75 years old, I believe. It's about other people now. I believe in servant leadership. He asked me, what are we going to do with this business at the end of the 25 years? Are you going to sell it? It made me sick to my stomach. This business that my dad started, I'm going to sell it off and it's going to get ripped to shreds and torn apart? I don't think so. This business is going to go on beyond me. It's been here since 1977. I want it to be here for another 100 years after I'm dead. So I get up every day and I think, how can I be a better leader? How can I serve the business? How can I serve the people that work there? And how can I serve the customers that come and give us their hard-earned money? I think back to that work ethic, and the one thing that I think about, that I think any business owner should focus on, is that work ethic and the hustle. Because it is something that is frowned upon these days. Even the word hustle has a negative connotation. So what does this all mean? What can people take away from this? We've built something different at Central Body. We understand that people have worked their tails off to get their dream motor coach, and they don't want it sitting in a shop. One of the things that we do differently is we get people back on the road to that next adventure. So you're not going to get that anywhere else in the country. We care about our customers' units like they're our own. A lot of them have names. Our motorhome, it's a 2016 Monaco. We nicknamed her Monica, right? And my wife and I and our kids like to travel. We like to go to the national parks. Those travel plans have to be made sometimes a year in advance. So when you hit a deer and your $500,000 coach is stuck in a shop for 6 months, that stings. You've worked your whole life. You want to have your unit back on the road as quick as possible. We take a lot of pride in not only getting you back on the road, but doing it at a high quality. Quality is definitely important to us at Central Body. A lot of customers, they say, it looks better than it did when I bought it. That's music to our ears, and we want to deliver on that promise to get you back on the road and to make it look like it never happened every single time.